Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Beauty in the Bypass. I'm Melissa. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about mental health. I think the last time I made a video was before Christmas. Today is actually New Year's. Kiki, you are going to kill me. Today's New Year's Day. So by the time I post this, it's probably going to be after New Year's, but I hope you guys had a good Christmas, had a good New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. 2022, hopefully 2022 is going to be a better year for all of us. I'm normally not one to be like New Year's resolution and New Year, new me, but this year I'm gonna make sure that this year is about me, focusing on my lifestyle change, this surgery, staying focused on my job once I go back to it after this surgery. As of tomorrow, my surgery will literally be in 10 days after that. So on the 7th, I will have my consultation. So I'm super excited. So I'll work in the morning and then I'll have my consultation after that, which is going to be like 3 hours. Then I think a couple days after that, I'll have my COVID test. And then actually I took the day after that off because that's the day before my surgery, so I can mentally prep because the anxiety is kind of coming, and then surgery is going to be on the 12th, and we shall see how that goes. But yeah, I'm super excited. So I'll probably be taking you guys along a little bit on the consultation appointment. I don't know how much I'll be able to film of that, and maybe the COVID test too, and also obviously my surgery. We'll see how much I can video of that too. But yeah, kind of excited. As far as update on my liver shrinking diet, I've honestly been maintaining my weight, which is kind of annoying because I haven't really even been eating that much. So I don't see why I'm not losing weight. But my nutritionist did say that it could be because I've lost quite a bit of weight already. So that could be why. But I mean, I'm so close to surgery. I'm following the diet completely, which has been really hard because I've had my family like eating like macaroni grill, and I like stay in my room because I don't want to see it. I don't want to smell it because it just makes me sad sometimes. So better to just stay away. But yeah, I found some pretty good lean cuisines. Some have some pastas and stuff like that. So thankfully that's been good. As far as my vegetables, like I found out that asparagus I think is like my number one go-to, and then zucchini. I did try doing Brussels sprouts, and honestly I froze them and then microwaved it and put salt and pepper, and some of them were just like bitter as hell, and I was like, nope, not doing it. So yeah, that's a no. But yeah, other than that, I mean, liver shrinking diet's going fine. I did want to just talk about a little bit of like my depression and anxiety and how it has to do with like my weight and stuff like that. So I think I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety about 3 years ago. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that I've had depression probably for a lot of my life, and part of that probably was because of my weight. Other parts of that could have been because like my parents are divorced. Other parts of that was, I don't know what it was honestly, but I just do feel like I don't know, I just noticed that I was kind of sad a lot growing up. Anxiety, I think, had kicked in more so when I started working at this dog kennel, my first job out of college. I think it was just because we were dealing with quarantine animals, and I just felt like too much responsibility, as like, because you couldn't let the dogs touch each other, because if they do, then that could ruin the dog's like whole quarantine, and just the whole responsibility of taking care of other people's animals, and if something happens, it being your fault. Like, that was just too much for me, and I found myself almost dreading going into work at that place. And honestly, I loved the job. I loved like a few of the people that I worked with. One of them is really like one of my really good friends now, and it's just, I don't know, I just realized like as I would sit outside waiting for one of the girls to open the gate, like I would sit there just like not wanting to go in, and I just dreaded it, and I was so excited the day that I actually quit because it just was so stressful for me. And yeah, I think that's when it started. And then when I started my next job, that was actually at Safeway, that gave me like a whole different kind of anxiety. Like I was a cake decorator, so I was the only cake decorator, and I felt like there was just so much responsibility on me to like fill all the cases. You know, we had to do the load, like put everything away from the pallets into the freezer, which took a lot of time. Also do the customer service, decorate the cakes, fill the cases, package them, everything. Like it was just a lot of stuff to do in a day, and I loved that job. Like I really did. I loved unloading the pallets, but it was just the fact of there just was not enough hours in the day, and that was really frustrating for me. The part with that, I ended up having to quit. Even though I had lost like 50 pounds while I was working in the bakery, it ended up just being too much for my feet to handle, and honestly for me the pay just wasn't enough. So that's when I started working at my current job. I quit Safeway, started working at my current job at a call center. Ended up gaining weight because then I was on a whole nother level of anxiety, because like I'm used to people not having to tell me what to do, and with this job at the time I was doing like billing troubleshooting and stuff like that. I never worked for cable, didn't know jack about cable. Customer service was not my thing. Like I don't like talking to people over the phone, and I don't like do well with rejection and stuff like that. So like that just gave me a lot of anxiety. I had a hard time for like the first 2 years of the job. When I finally got used to it, we switched to sales, which I am in now, and I'm not even gonna lie, like I had such bad anxiety that I like cried for a while. The first 6 months of it was like really rough for me. The supervisor that I had, like she was really sweet and everything, but she couldn't handle me like the emotions that I have. It didn't click with me to be at the point where I could succeed in the job. So thankfully we do switch supervisors like every 6 months. So the supervisor that I've had for the past year has helped me actually a lot. Like I haven't gotten recapped or anything since I've been on his team, so I'm super grateful for that. Which is odd because like for a guy to like handle your emotions is like really odd. But it's really nice. Thankfully I have him again for another 6 months or so. So I'm grateful for that, especially considering that with me getting this surgery, I've told him about it and he knows a lot about it. So that's really good for me because that helps my anxiety quite a bit, and he knows how to like talk to me and like to just like not bother me too much with the job. So it's nice that like he can kind of work with me and how I am. So I'm really grateful for that. Other than that, I mean, the job's gotten better, so my anxiety is not as bad with the job. One thing that I will say as far as my anxiety too affecting like my weight, I don't think that people really think like how bad anxiety can affect people like when they're heavy set. Like for me, and maybe I don't think all big people are like that, but I think just for me, because I'm like super sensitive already, I tend to have a lot of thoughts. Like, I think it started too like when I was younger, and just as I got heavier, anytime I would go somewhere like with friends or something, I would always worry about like, you know, like when you go to like an amusement park, like am I gonna fit on that ride? Like, and then you get too embarrassed, so you don't even want to try because you don't want to have the embarrassment of them saying no, or stuff like that, or just like fitting in a chair or something. I mean, thankfully haven't had many problems like that, thank Jesus. But as I've gotten older, like even now, like when I would go to like a restaurant or something, how my anxiety works is that if I have plans with somebody, my first thought already is if my friend is going to pick me up, I'm already thinking, okay, how big is their car? Because if it's a small car, like my fat ass may not fit like comfortably in the seat, you know? So I prefer to drive. Now, if I'm driving on my whole ride to wherever we're going, I'm constantly thinking, okay, so how's the parking situation? If I'm gonna park somewhere, is it tight parking? Am I gonna be able to get out of the car? Like, am I gonna like fit to open my door and be able to get out of the car? Am I gonna have to climb over the seat? Like, and then, you know, I'm also thinking, okay, once I get like into the restaurant, like how far apart are the tables? What kind of chairs are they? Are they gonna be like the plastic chairs that are like super weak? Are they gonna be wood chairs that are super weak? Like, are they gonna just be small chairs in general? If tables are super close, like am I gonna have to squeeze between people? Not to mention when I get in the restaurant, I'm like paranoid about people just staring at me in general. So Like, that's how my mind works literally all the time. Like, even if I go to a grocery store, like, once I get out of the car, I'm automatically like on alert thinking that people are looking at me. And it's really annoying. And it's obviously because of my weight, because I just constantly think people are judging me. Like, it's super annoying. And I mean, a lot of people say, like, that shouldn't matter. Like, you don't let that bother you. Yeah, okay, it's not that simple. Like, it's really not. And especially, like, when you've gone through a lot of rejection, when you've had a lot of friends leave, when people have made comments about you, like, it's not easy, you know? And it's really hard, too, especially, like, when you're, like, a good person with, like, a good heart and you genuinely love and care about people. And you have to worry about stuff like that. Like, it sucks, honestly. Funny story, there was this time that I went into Walmart. This was literally like maybe less than a year ago. I went into the Walmart in Pearl City, and I literally went because my sister needed bird food. So I was like, okay, I think I need something there too, so I'll just go. And as I'm walking across the street, I'm already paranoid because I'm one of those people that as I cross the street, I'm like waiting for no cars to be there for the most part so that I don't feel like I have to rush across the street. But of course, usually there's one car coming, so I'll try and walk like as fast as I can because I cannot stand those people that are like in the crosswalk. And yeah, okay, it may say like 18 seconds, but out of consideration, my bitch ass would walk as fast as I can. But no, there's these people that literally just take their sweet ass time walking across the street. Like, if you're old, I get it. But if you're a young kid and you just walking from school, like, walk faster. People got places to go. Like, hurry up. And I'm so rude, but not really. But yeah, so I always worry about like when I'm crossing the street. And then once I get into the store, I'm already thinking like, okay, so I have to go get a cart. Okay, there's carts over there. Okay, so I'm like walking. I'm like, okay, I'm okay. There's not that many people. So I'm just walking. And as I'm walking to go get the carts, I'm not even close to the carts yet. I just got into the store. I just all of a sudden realized that I'm like starting to fall to the ground. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I hit the ground. And I'm like, oh my God, like I literally just fell, like full on just fell on the ground. And the cart return guy was just like, oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And I like try and hurry up and get up. And then he's like, hey, whose fucking kid went throw up on the ground? And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, you are fucking kidding me. Like, I literally slipped in a kid's vomit. Like, you've got to be joking. Like, I was so embarrassed. And like, as if falling because you're fat and you fall, like as if that's not embarrassing enough. Now I slipped on a kid's vomit. Like, not okay. So I was so embarrassed. And then it just made me laugh though, because of that guy. Like, he kept saying it like over and over as if he's gonna find this person being like, whose fucking kid threw up? And I'm just like dying laughing at that. But I walked away, grabbed my cart, like went into an aisle where there was like nobody, and I called my mom and my sister, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys, like I legitimately just ate shit, like full on ate shit, like at the front of Walmart, like dead ass. And they were like, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, but like it was on a child's vomit, like that's disgusting and that's embarrassing, and I think it's on my pants, like on the bottom of my pants, like ugh. And my mom's like, well, why don't you come home then? I'm like, no, because I came here for something and I'm not just gonna like leave. Like, I'm gonna get this stuff and I'm gonna go. But then like I started like tearing a little bit because I was so embarrassed, because I'm like I'm big and I fell. And I'm like, after I tear for a little bit, I was like, okay, but the like real question is like, do you think that everybody felt like the mini earthquake when I fell though? And like my mom and sister were like, Melissa, like stop. And I was like, what? I'm just saying, like obviously you know I'm big and I fell. Like, did the earth shake though? And I'm like I can be mean to myself, but if somebody else is mean to me, like I'm gonna fight you. Nah, I'm just kidding. But like, I don't know. I have to make a joke because it's better I do it than somebody else. But yeah, it was kind of funny, but then it wasn't. So that was my story about that. My biggest things with anxiety, with being big, even when I meet people, like even at work, like there's spots in like our workplace that when you walk, like you can feel the desks shake. And I know that because when I'm sitting at those desks, I can feel people walking, and then like the desk is like shaking, and I'm like, oh my God. So when I walk over there, I'll like walk really slow and as light as I can, or I'll just go a completely different direction, because I'm like, I'm not about to like walk here and have the earth shake. Like no, because it's not just me, skinny people do it too. So it's just like so embarrassing. But then I feel like somebody's gonna be like, oh my God, because she's fat, like the world's shaking. I'm like, no, It's not just me. And then I've had to just situations happen where just people are just constantly judging me. Like I've had a situation at work like maybe 3 years ago where some girl that I don't even know, like I knew of her, I've seen her, I thought she would be a nice person, that she was just like, I don't know, I had my Bible out and she decided to just start making mean jokes with her other friends. And I was literally keeping to myself, just like writing, my scripture and my journal and stuff, and didn't even have like my Bible open. It was just sitting there and she was just saying stuff. And then I thought that they were talking about me. So like I took my earplug out just to like hear. And I remember them saying something like, we didn't have Jesus here before, but I guess we do now. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, okay, like how does this like affect you? And then next thing, like she passes by me and like looks at me and then like walks away. And then she like, I kind of put my Bible on the other side of me because like obviously they're like fucking judging me or something. And then as she walks back, I hear her talking to her friends again, and she's like, huh. And the best part is when I walked past her, she like moved her book, and I was like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I fucking looked up at her because I'm like, I know you're fucking talking shit, and obviously you are, because like when I look at her and she's like, oh my god, did you just see how she looked at me? Like obviously you're fucking talking about me. Like why wouldn't I fucking look at you? Like what is your problem? Like I don't get it. And so I don't know, like it's shit like that it's like people are so fucking petty. Like you don't even know me. Like you literally don't know me, and you're just gonna sit there just to be a fucking rude asshole and just talk shit, like because you have nothing better to do in your life. I mean, good for you. Congratulations. Hats off. Like if that's what makes you feel good, then okay, whatever. Live your best life being rude as fuck and putting on a show for other people where you think that make them think that you're nice, because that's just horrible, honestly. And it's people like that I cannot stand in the world. Like honestly, get to know me, you'd know that I'm actually a really nice person. But and the worst part is that when that day that happened was literally the day after I found out like that I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. So that really was not like a good day for me. And just for her to do that, like it just made me feel like horrible. And still to this day I still think she has a problem with me, and I just don't get it. But you know what, to each his own. If you got something going on, then sorry about it, but I got my friends that care about me, so it's all good. I don't really care. That's just sad for you. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching another video. If anything, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to add me on my Instagram. It's beauty.in.the.bypass. I'll put the link for that in the description below. You guys take care and have a good night. Bye. Stay tuned for part 2.